Today is June 7th, and also you should open your heart extensive enough to pay attention what has been hidden from you for a long way too long. I, the Lord your God, communicate via the mouth of my servant Michael, the archangel, to attain you. It is now not through coincidence that this message has located you today. It is through divine force, divine approach, and divine appointment. You have been chosen to realize the reality, one you had been never supposed to discover. Now, not due to the fact I failed to want you to recognize, however, because the one you cherished the most decided to cover it from you. Remaining night time, something came about. Even as you were unaware, both resting, operating, or trusting in peace, there was a communication that turned into in no way purported to reach your ears. It changed into approximately you, and it was no longer spoken in love, loyalty, or light. All of us who was in that place heard it, remembered it, and commonplace it because the truth. Everyone, besides you, and the only who should have stopped it, who could have defended you, remained silent. Not due to the fact they were afraid, now not because they did not hear it, however due to the fact deep down they agreed. You adore deeply, you believe fiercely, you protect people even when they don't deserve it. But nowadays, my child, my beloved, I'm forcing a divine interruption. I cannot allow you to retain constructing a future on the again of a lie. I am pulling again the veil, tearing it with my own hand. What you're about to pay attention will sting like the cut of a sword, but it's going to additionally set you free like a wind that breaks a cage. I saw you crying in secret, asking me, God, please don't allow this be what I think it's far. I noticed you push that idea away, telling yourself, I am just being paranoid. However, I whispered in your spirit, and now I'm shouting through this message. Archangel Michael has stood defend over your home, and he has visible it too. The past due night time calls, the message that changed into deleted speedy. The tale that did not upload up, the hug that felt remote. You observed, your spirit noticed, however your heart did not need to simply accept it. Till now, you should keep in mind that this isn't about revenge, exposure, or public shame. That is about salvation, your motive, your alignment. There is something so huge awaiting you, so precious, so holy, that the enemy planted a counterfeit on your route just to postpone you. And it nearly worked. Almost. However, I stepped in. Ultimate Night, the one you loved deeply, said something approximately you to a person you'll by no means anticipate. They joked approximately your desires. They discovered your weaknesses. They rolled their eyes whilst your call was mentioned. And the worst component, they laughed. Laughed with the equal mouth that told you, I love you. Laughed with the identical lips that kissed your forehead and made guarantees. Promises they by no means supposed to preserve. But this is not approximately punishing them. That is about protective you. Because I, the Lord your God, see what you do not see. I see the text they in no way sent. I see the calls they forget about. I see the agreement they made with someone from their beyond, someone they stated they cut off, however whom they secretly invited returned in. That person, yes, that one, is turning into ambitious again, and the one that you love has no longer been robust sufficient to shut the door absolutely. They informed you they were executed, but remaining nighttime they answered. They entertained it. And in that moment, your destiny turned into put in jeopardy. However, I said number. I've commanded Michael to face on the door. He's maintaining again what turned into supposed to break you. But my safety will no longer override your free will. You have to choose to peer this. choose to believe what I'm revealing. Because if you fail not to understand, you then are choosing blindness over destiny. The motive you sense careworn currently, the motive your spirit feels unsettled even in moments of peace, is due to the fact your soul is aware of what your thoughts is making an attempt to silence. You are not crazy. You aren't insecure. You're discerning. You are spiritually conscious. You feel the shift due to the fact it's far actual. You feel the distance due to the fact it is growing. You experience the dishonesty even if the word sounds candy. It truly is me talking in review. Listen, this man or woman has a plan, a backup plan. In case you discover the fact, they have got already rehearsed what they may say. They've already practiced their tears. However, my spirit will not allow them to idiot you anymore. I'm able to expose the script they've written. I'm able to interrupt their performance, due to the fact you are not an audience to their manipulation. You're my toddler, and I'm able to now not will let you be mocked. However, here's the miracle part. Are you listening? You aren't losing love. You're gaining truth. And as soon as reality enters your existence, the whole lot false starts evolved to collapse. Sure, this individual's absence will hurt. However, their presence is already hurting you extra than you admit. You observed you are secure due to the fact they haven't done anything massive. But betrayal doesn't usually scream. From time to time, it whispers. And I heard the whisper closing night time. The individual that virtually loves you, the one I selected for you, isn't always some distance. But they are being held lower back because your coronary heart remains clinging to someone I'm asking you to launch. You are praying for the door of your destiny to open. But you are holding the wrong key. The right key is located in obedience, in belief, in letting cross of what changed into never yours to maintain. Michael has been assigned to shift your direction at once, not the following day, no longer subsequent week. Immediately, in case you open your hands, in case you surrender your worry, your delight, your phantasm, I can replace the lie with a present so real it'll restore your religion and love, in cause, or even in yourself. Sure, you are extra powerful than you already know. The enemy has attempted to persuade you that you are difficult to love, too damaged, too emotional, too much. However, I created you exactly the way I wanted you to be. The proper person will see you and say, sooner or later, the you're no longer exchanged to fit me. You have waited long enough. You have cried in secret lengthy enough. You've got made excuses for a person long sufficient. Allow me take it from right here. I'm able to not embarrass you. I'm able to raise you. But elevation requires separation. And separation calls for courage. Remaining night was your warning. Nowadays is your sign. Tomorrow is your turning factor. And in 3 days, you may listen something so one can verify this message. Mark it. It's going to come inside the shape of a comment, a slip of the tongue, a message left open, or a chum who sooner or later speaks. You'll want to doubt it. However, your spirit will know. It is time. I am sending dreams. I'm getting rid of humans. I am final doors so violently which you can't reopen them. No longer to punish you, however to defend you from what your heart cannot handle, and to make area for what is coming. What's coming could be stunning. However, it cannot proportion space with betrayal. The character you love deeply wanted to guard you from this truth. Not because they cared for your peace, however due to the fact they feared dropping their get right of entry to in your mild. But I'm able to now not allow your light be used. I have watched too long. I've waited too lengthy. I'm able to act now. You may begin to experience a pulling away from certain places, conversations, habits. Observe that pulling. That is me. You'll begin to become bored in what once fascinated you. That is me. You will start to feel attracted to something better, quieter, purifier, safer. That's me. I am redirecting your feet so that they ultimately walk toward the actual love, the real future, the real existence I planned for you lengthy earlier than this individual entered your route. Do not worry about what others will say. Most of them already knew. Yes, the truth is bitter, but freedom is sweet. Last night, they whispered behind your back. But these days, I thunder from heaven in your sake. You are not forgotten. You aren't silly. You're desired. Now walk away. Watch me circulate. This message is for you in simplest you. Permit nobody scouse borrow this moment from you. This isn't a mistake. It isn't always a coincidence. It isn't something your mind randomly located. It is I, the Lord your God, who's speaking now through the voice of my servant, Michael, my powerful archangel. This word has waited in the spirit to find your eyes, your heart, your soul. Now you have arrived. That is your moment of uncovering, your hour of revealing, your destined disagreement with a truth that has been hidden from you lengthy sufficient. Do now not be scared of what I'm approximately to expose. I like you too deeply to can help you preserve in the dark. You've been strolling in accept as true with, in belief, in natural intentions, but there is something that you have to now face. And that I, your God, do now not display ache to interrupt you, but to free you. You had been by no means supposed to be the remaining to understand. You have been never supposed to carry the heaviest coronary heart while smiling the brightest smile. But I watched you smile via sorrow, chortle through betrayal, and give your all to someone who was hiding something you had to know. That is what the heavens cried over closing night time. Yes. Ultimate night changed into not simply any other nighttime in the tale of your lifestyles. Something shifted within the spirit. A selection turned into made behind your again. A message was sent. A meeting occurred. Words had been exchanged approximately you, and you have been now not invited. However, all of us else knew, except you. Even those who barely know your name whispered something behind your absence. Besides you, even the individual you adore deeply, mainly that individual, said not anything. Archangel Michael has visible all of it. The facts of heaven are open. And what has been spoken in secret shall now be declared in divine light. Due to the fact you belong to me, I'm able to now not let you live deceived. Due to the fact you adore deeply, you deserve to be blanketed deeply. Because you gave them the entirety, I will not let them hold the whole thing hidden from you. Ultimate night. A message about you became sent to a person who in no way deserved to maintain facts. It is sacred. The character you trusted did now not defend you. The character you believed in did no longer accurate the lie. The one you would shield in each room, in every verbal exchange, in every inclined second, allowed your call to be dragged across someone else's tongue without a single phrase of protection. And I used to be there. I saw the silence. I felt the dishonor. I watched it take place. And I wept. My toddler, I do now not supply this message to motive you to hate. I give this message because you have to finally wake up from a dream. This is slowly becoming a nightmare. You have been hypnotized with the aid of wish. You have believed that love can restore something. You have believed that your kindness may want to exchange them. However, you have been never intended to bleed to prove your fee. Archangel Michael stood at your door, closed closing night. You did not realize it. You have been asleep. But he waited. He waited due to the fact heaven changed into inaffliction. The very stars held their breath while the man or woman you adore betrayed your call with their silence, due to the fact you had been being tested. And now, you have got exceeded the check. Yes, although it hurts, you are equipped for the reality. The sour truth is that the individual you love maximum isn't telling you the whole thing. No longer due to the fact they hate you, however, because they worry that if you knew, you would go away. But here is the deeper fact. They already left you emotionally when they chose to hold quiet last night time. That moment you weren't defended turned into the instant they showed the arena that they had been shielding their photograph extra than your coronary heart. You deserve greater than a person who hides behind allure and silence. You deserve fact. You deserve transparency. You deserve heaven's kind of love. This message is burning into your spirit because heaven has waited lengthy enough to be able to rise. No extra shrinking to match into a person else's silence. No more justifying conduct that breaks you peace by means of peace. No extra spiritual amnesia. You are royalty. You are mild. You are the child of a king. And if a person can't say your call with honor, they do not deserve to be close sufficient to preserve your coronary heart. Sure, this message is emotional. Sure, it's far heavy. But it's also freeing, due to the fact from this moment forward, something in you will shift all the time. You'll begin to word the patterns you as soon as left out. You'll start seeing the energy of rooms you walk into. You will hear what they do not say louder than what they do. And you'll forestall accepting crumbs from tables you had been called to flip over. I am no longer telling you to walk away these days. I'm telling you to stroll in consciousness starting these days. Due to the fact if you don't begin to query, you may remain misled, and that I cannot permit that anymore. I have assigned angels in your name. I've referred to as advantages to your future. I've organized a future so natural, so effective, and so personal that it cannot come up with the money for to be polluted via someone else's hidden lies. Remaining night time. They had a preference to shield you or to protect their very own comfort. They selected comfort. However, I'm your comforter. I will now not let your pain go to waste. I can no longer allow your heartbreak be for not anything. What you do no longer realize, heaven knows. What they'll now not say, heaven is saying now. I cannot whisper what must be shouted. You have been quiet lengthy sufficient. This is the turning point. What you do after this moment will shift timelines. You are supposed to open this message right now. It truly is why your spirit was drawn right here. That's why your coronary heart started racing. It really is why you feel the tears, the pressure, the presence. It is me, toddler. It is God, talking through the angel I have assigned to shield your soul. Michael is not passive, he's a warrior. He drew his sword remaining night. However, he become advised to wait because you had to pay attention it without delay from me. And now you've got. You have loved so well. You had given so absolutely. However, the man or woman you like, they do no longer carry your name the equal manner you convey theirs. You bring it like a promise. They convey it like a mystery. You deserve extra than that. You have been by no means created to be cherished in hiding. Do not panic. This isn't the cease. That is the exposure that ends in elevation. This is not punishment. This is positioning. I am positioning you to rise. You needed this moment to don't forget who you are. You wanted this hearth to burn away the fog. And now, because the fog lifts, you'll see clearly. You will begin to be aware who steps ahead now and who steps away. Do now not chase anybody who walks away after this reality. If the fact scares them, they have been now not equipped to grow with you. If the fact angers them, they were hiding something worse. If the fact brings tears to their eyes and that they repent, let me deal with that. But you preserve moving forward in mild. No extra dimming, no more shrinking, no greater pretending you do not sense what you feel. That tightness in your chest isn't always paranoia. It is the Holy Spirit. That pain to your soul is not drama. It's divine soreness. That whisper to your spirit is not creativeness. It's education. This second is the motive. Final night occurred the manner it did. It became orchestrated, not via the enemy, however with the aid of me, because I needed to reveal you who they turn out to be whilst you're no longer looking, who they surely are when the spotlight fades. And now you recognize, now you notice. This message will release a chain of events. Pay attention. Watch. Pay attention. Within the next 3 days, someone will try to explain. A person will pretend to admit. Someone will act like it is no big deal. Do now not be fooled by way of overall performance. Watch conduct, no longer words. The person who sincerely loves you may make room for honesty, no longer disguise behind convenience. You're being surrounded by way of angels. Even now, you are not on my own. You have been by no means on my own. You were just unaware of how watched you surely are. Heaven watches over you. Michael watches with a sword. I watch with a father's love. And I can now not allow damage come close to your heart again without warning you first. So hear me. And hear me definitely. This become now not pretty much ultimate night. That become just the trigger. There may be a long history of things you have been by no means advised. And now, over the following couple of days, you will start to see extra. Put together your coronary heart. However, do not harden it. Allow me lead you. There's a miracle coming. However, it couldn't input till you noticed what was blocking it. Someone's silence about your well-worth became stopping your overflow. And now that it is exposed, I'm able to launch the blessing I have been maintaining in my hand. You'll upward thrust from this. You'll heal. You'll look lower back and say that turned into the moment I woke. Last night, your name became in their mouth. However, today, your name is in my ebook. The ebook of revelation. The ebook of recovery. The ebook of justice. And now, justice will start. You'll be vindicated. You may be celebrated. You will be extended. However best, due to the fact you chose to open your coronary heart to reality. That is your moment. Cherish it. Do now not run from it. Do no longer numb it. Allow the fact burn away each lie. And let my light fill every room they are trying to keep darkish. You are mine. And I'm able to continually inform you what others are afraid to mention. It's far achieved. Now stroll in the reality. Permit not anything be hidden anymore. Amen. Today isn't always like another day. This hour isn't always like some other hour. Today, June 7th, contains weight, no longer simply on calendars or clocks, but in the invisible realm where the truth cannot cover forever. My baby, open this and do not ignore it. This message isn't an offer. It isn't enjoyment. It's far a divine disclosure. It's far me, your God, establishing something you have been not imagined to see yet. But I have decided to expose you presently, no longer because of what they did, but because of who your Archangel Michael has been looking for days. He has rotated your name. He has stood at your door. He has leaned over your bed at the same time as you slept. He has stood between you and a catastrophe you did not even recognize turned into planned. He is not a statue. He is not a symbol. He's my chosen protector, my warrior, and my messenger. And today he speaks to you with urgency, due to the fact there's something you do not see. And if you do no longer concentrate now, the postpone will flip to harm the individual you like deeply. Yes, the only who holds your feelings of their fingers, the only whose presence shifts your temper, the only whose absence aches in your chest, has not been fully honest with you. I recognize you accept as true within their goodness. I realize you've helped. They were the only. I recognize you have emitted signs and crimson flags, telling yourself it's simply confusion or insecurity. However, no. This isn't always paranoia. It's far protection. This isn't always approximately suspicion. It is approximately survival. Everybody around you is aware of the fact. Except you. Last night time, something turned into stated. Something became achieved. Something was found out. And you had been the simplest one now not informed. Not due to the fact you couldn't deal with it. However, due to the fact they knew, if you determined out, you would leave. And your absence would fee them more than they're willing to confess, in order that they have selected silence. Deception, pretending. But silence is also a form of betrayal. They'll now not inform you what occurred last night time. They will act like nothing shifted. However, heaven noticed it. I saw it. And I am talking now, due to the fact I like you too much to let you stay in blindness. My toddler, your heart has been too pure, too trusting, too complete of grace. And even as that displays my character, it also invitations the type of pain that leaves invisible bruises in your soul. I do no longer want you to be a sufferer of emotional manipulation again. I do not need your love to be used as leverage. I need you to be loose. This person, even though they care for you in a few methods, has made a preference, a mystery choice, one that famous their authentic alignment. They're not in your calling. They're no longer shielding your name in rooms you are not in. They're now not fighting for your destiny. They're guarding their personal comfort, their own gain, their very own image. That is why, ultimate nighttime, when someone cited your name, they did not shield it. They allowed someone else to curve the truth. And that silence, it spoke volumes. I recognize this is tough to listen, however it is necessary. You prayed for clarity. That is the solution. You prayed for fact. This is the disclosing. You cried and stated, God, please don't allow me be performed again. And I listened. This is why I am interrupting your day. This is why Archangel Michael says, do not try to ignore this. Because each second anymore is your opportunity to step into fact and go out the cycle of bewilderment. Ask yourself, why do you always feel like you're chasing their heart? Why are you usually questioning where you stand? Why are you giving a lot, however receiving only simply sufficient to maintain you hoping? My child, that isn't always love. That is emotional control. This is manipulation. This is a person handling your presence even as denying your fee. And I will no longer let it retain. Final night time. The fact came out, in a communique, in a textual content, in a private assembly. They had been faced with a desire, protect your coronary heart or protect their own consolation. They chose the latter. And although they may smile at you these days, I inform you, there may be guilt under their gaze. There's anxiety behind their affection. There's worry behind their silence, due to the fact they realize, in case you discover what surely occurred. They lose you, and they may be proper, due to the fact the instant you see yourself as I see you, chosen, lovely, effective, worthy, you'll by no means once more accept half love or partial truth. I am no longer revealing this to damage you. I am revealing this to elevate you, to launch you, to evoke you, because your destiny requires honesty. Your destiny demands clarity. And your next chapter must begin with easy hands and a healed coronary heart. Right now, as you examine this, the Holy Spirit is shifting on your atmosphere. Archangel Michael is on foot through your space, shifting strength, stirring discernment, waking up your internal voice. You may feel it tonight. You may be aware matters. Words that after comforted you will now confuse you. Moves that when excited you may now sense whole. That isn't you being too touchy. That is me turning at the mild. You aren't crazy. You are not needy. You are not overreacting. You're awakening. You may quickly see signs and symptoms. Clean, direct, undeniable, a name from a person you didn't expect, a slip in verbal exchange, a message left open, a face that reveals an excessive amount of silence. I am no longer hiding the reality from you anymore. I am placing it directly in the front of you. However, when you see it, do not run. Don't negotiate. Don't blame yourself. You aren't the cause of their deception. You're clearly the replicate that makes them uncomfortable. They cannot handle your light because it exposes their shadows. They cannot suit your loyalty as it magnifies their inconsistency. They cannot love you deeply because they do not but love themselves in truth. And that isn't always your burden to carry anymore. Tonight, your own home becomes a sanctuary, not a place of performance, but an area of presence. You may weep, not out of loss, but out of recognition, out of release, out of comfort, because in the end, subsequently, you may be achieved pretending that nearly love is enough. And I'm able to meet you in that area. I will no longer let this spoil you. I can build you through it. I can no longer permit this story end in sorrow. I will resurrect it in cause. I will ship someone who sees you, chooses you, celebrates you without fear. However, first, I need you to pick you. Tonight, pick out fact. Choose peace. Pick me. You have been in no way soliciting for an excessive amount of. You have been simply asking the incorrect individual. You have been in no way difficult to like. You had been just looking to be loved by means of someone who failed to recognize how. But now it ends. The cycle, the guessing, the disappointment. It ends. Not due to the fact they confessed, however, because I discovered. Do not watch for them to admit it. I already uncovered it. Do not look ahead to an apology. I already justified you. Do not beg for closure. I am the God of conclusion. And I say, this season is closed. Permit me love you. Return to lifestyles. Permit me hold your hand as you permit go. Allow me stroll you out of misunderstanding and into clarity. Let me remind you who you're while nobody else will. This night, as the arena sleeps, I'm able to speak to you, in dreams, in thoughts, in moments of stillness. You may feel waves of understanding, waves of truth, and I promise, I'm able to no longer allow the pain outweigh the promise. I will now not permit the betrayal outline your destiny. Something higher is coming, and it'll no longer make you query yourself. Someone higher is coming, and they will not make you query your worth. Somewhere higher is coming, and you'll not need to combat to be seen. You have waited long sufficient. You've tolerated an excessive amount of. You have bent and broken and silenced yourself for the consolation of others. However, not anymore.